map. So he said it was called Boo Wizard. And he said what he wanted to show us to go further with this is that the oldest part, the civilization is called Kemet. But within Kemet, he said there was one area which is the oldest of the old. And that was called Boo Wizard, land of Osiris. Boo land, as Muhammad said, and he pronounced it always as wizard, not Osar, not Usar, not Nosar. Wizard is how he pronounced it. And he said the English words wisdom and wizard come from that word. So, it comes from Abu Wash in the north to Dashur in the south. And we'll quickly go through those. See, we got Lisht and Fayum. It's all part of the ancient, but he did include that in Boo Wizard. Okay, it says Dashur, in the south, where we started today. We did Saqqara, Abu Sir, Abu Jurab. There is an incredible site that has been the most difficult for us to analyze, Zawiyat al-Aryan, because it is a military base. And very difficult for us to access. Hakim took me there in '97. It was a very interesting experience. Giza and Abu Wash. So there we are. 25 square miles. 25 square miles, all connected by interlocking tunnels. Drilled before anything else above ground. They drilled miles of tunnels through limestone, which we were in some today, which we goes, we'll see more, to go out to the western desert. And I'll get to there. So let's go quickly, because we're there today. Here we go. Here's our teaching for today. Seneferu. They say he of beauty, saying it's a man, a king, who originally was interested in 3 pyramids. As Muhammad explained to us, he finished supposedly his father's pyramid, Umay's pyramid, the collapsed pyramid of Maidum. No, that wasn't good enough. He went then to Dashur, said, okay, let's do this one, the bent pyramid, which we'll do next. No, I don't like the angle. And it was explained today. Nonsense. So, he of beauty is actually Senef. Senen means double, always doubled. Neferu, he said harmony, not beauty. So double harmony. And there's the red pyramid. You guys went in today, and here's the bed. So, first angle, I think it's 60, 55 degrees, and then it breaks. So, every architect, every engineer said there's no reason that this would not have worked. They didn't have to, it was not going to collapse with this angle. There's no reason this could not have worked. Marshall McLuhan, as I mentioned, famous Canadian who wrote the book in 1968, The Media is a Message, started the whole media revolution, came there in 68, looked at that pyramid, said it produces 2 frequencies of sound. Hakim said it could have been either or. It could have been the red pyramid and the bent pyramid with the Seneferu, or the bent pyramid itself, because it does produce 2 frequencies of sound. So we're only talking about the site, not any individual. And there's the pyramid we looked at today, the black pyramid of Amenemhat 1 or 2. 2? Yes. It is called a symbolic perka, not a pernetic. We went in there, although I may be wrong, and you may prove me wrong. We may get in there and tone and find some great sound. But from what we understand, this was only a symbolic tomb, and he wasn't buried here, but a symbolic tomb. Very little limestone in the interior, and mostly mud brick, and it's collapsed. Now again, here we go. Let's talk about evolution. This, according to their timeline, is about 2650 BCE, maybe 2700. Still standing, almost barely. I'll just in case we saw it today. You're inside. It's pretty solid inside, pretty strong. Just the casing stones are missing. That's all. This, maybe 1750, 1800 BC. Much younger. Nothing left. Anti-evolutionary. You're supposed to go progress forward. You're supposed to get better. Your technology is supposed to get better. You're supposed to hand down what you did one generation to the next generation, and they improve on it. Technology always increases. Didn't hear it. That's the enigma that Egyptologists cannot explain. Why, when you go from the old kingdom, in quotes, beautiful structures, granite, and these wonderful glyphs and art and jewelry, and all of a sudden it degenerates. It renaissances again in the 12th dynasty, but never as good as the 4th dynasty. But it's a renaissance. It renaissances again in the 18th dynasty, but it's never as good as the 4th dynasty. So it's anti-evolutionary. It degenerates. Cannot be explained. The only way it can be explained is what was before. And again, you saw the corbelled ceiling. I had a very good friend of mine, Brett Tyson, in the 90s. He was an acoustic engineer and musician, looked at this and looked at the relieving chambers of the Great Pyramid and said it serves as an acoustic comb filter. As I said to Richard, it blocks out the frequencies you don't want, it keeps the frequencies you want. That's why we could hit the perfect tone. Gary's not even here. Okay. We didn't get a chance to go over here, but come back, or we do it again. There's the docks. There was no doubt that there was water went right up to these pyramids. It was green. And as I mentioned to people there, if you saw there were mounds in the background where some of the sand was darkened, we did some experiment, we did some digging, we found silt. Silt's still there, only rains 4 inches a year at Dashur, but there's still water under the sand. There's remnants of limestone walls here that show that they built an aqueduct for water to come. Boats would dock here. We could actually find a dock. Boats came here. So this is an active living site, folks. They didn't build these tombs out in the desert. And the interesting thing is, there you can see the silt. And it goes from west to east, where the ancient Urnil, which I'm going to get to quickly, the old river was. And they had to bring the old river to this current Nile Valley. So all the silt, all the energy moved from west to east. Major water lines from west to east. Saqqara, as Muhammad told us, Saqqar, never the dead or the west. So that's why it became an acropolis. So no Saqqara is actually a dynastic symbol. I used to ask Hakim, well, what was Saqqara in the ancient Phoenicians? Buddhism. It all was Buddhism. So now I'm going to show something interesting that you guys did not see today. Again, this structure and this structure, not the same time. This structure could be over 12,000 years. Hakim dated this structure at 4,000 BCE, not any older than that. It is not a pyramid. It is a symbolic macabre. There it is. And of course we said the courtyard today was all limestone. And Hakim would say for the Hepset festival, the king did not run or do gymnastics, he would dance. And there's actual pictures of the king dancing with his false tail. And so he would dance to show his fertility. Now, this is very interesting also. It was right on the side where we were. These jet pillars are actually what we call Mesopotamian style influence. So people ask, who was first, Sumer or Egypt? Sumer or Egypt? Hakim said Sumer was Samerra. And it was part of Kemet. So Sumerian does not predate glyphs. The Sumerian writing cuneiform is a short form of the glyphs. The glyphs were before Sumer. This is influenced from Mesopotamia. This is what we call the Saqqara sequence. It's beautiful. Okay, series of pictures I took. Here we are, you know the step pyramid was, here's where you guys went in. Well, if you would have gone down around the corner, you would have seen this structure, which is dynastic, no doubt. But look what's underneath. There's tunnels through the limestone bedrock. Watch out. Go further. We go closer. Here they are again, tunnels through the limestone bedrock. Here's another one. Here's one that goes way down. Now, here's an interesting symbol. Mathematicians in the audience? What is that? Pi. That's where it came from, not from Greece. So, Hakim said, keep coming closer, Stephen. He would tell me to take these sequence of pictures. Come closer to this one, okay? Here we go again. Here it is again. Here it is going way down. Closer, closer, closer. Boom. At least 100 meters, at least. Now, not a perfect right angle, but you're talking about drilling through limestone bedrock. Now, the interesting thing here, I'm going to go show a little, I think it's right next. No, okay. Here's where you guys went to the hospital. Let's explain the hospital. I'm sure Patricia did it right, but let's explain the hospital. You saw a platform. Only one platform intact. There were 10 of them, if you looked. If you saw the broken, the hospital was much larger than you think. There were 10 platforms. Originally 28 niches, 14 on a side. The whole side on this side is gone. There's only 2 active niches left, but you could use one. He said, who was Imhotep? He said there were many Imhoteps. It was a title of the head of the school of healing by sound. He said the last Imhotep, who they think was Imhotep, 2700 BCE, was the last one who taught the sound healing at this site. So it is not, except for us, except for Hakim elucidating the hospital to people, except for us who come back and do it, no one has done this since 2700 BCE. They forgot how to do this. And you know, if you put your head in there, you're supposed to, the extant platform is that the patient would choose to go up the left side or the right side. Would you go to work on the right side or the feminine or the masculine side? Patient chooses. You go up, stand there, and the priest, priestess, because of course women, would put their head in the niche, and intone a sound. And they would see in their mind an MRI of the person, their organs, their circulation, their lift, their lance. Immediately would see where the block was. Would intone another sound, and the healing process would begin. And it'd be a specific color, and a specific herb. And immediately when Robert Bauval came out with his book in 1996, Orion Mystery, I sat down with Hakim. What is about this? Nonsense. There originally were 9 large pyramids on the Giza Plateau, not 9 total. 9 large pyramids. Doesn't fit any belt of Orion. And as Susan, I think, pointed out, those stars are millions of light years away from each other. They don't look like that in reality as they do in the sky. It's just an illusion. But if there's more than 9 pyramids, they don't fit in the story. And there she is. And we say she. Let's talk about her briefly. Hakim said she was Tefnut. Not the story that we heard about Ra creating everybody else. Tefnut is related to Nut. Tef, spit. Spit. Spit of the mother. Nut is the great mother. So why did it say the spit of the mother? Well, Hakim said because saliva, every time we expectorate, to use a scientific term, it has no volume, no mass. It cannot be measured. You cannot define the great mother. This is the patriarchy. This is the matriarchal understanding. The great mother cannot be defined. But if you want to, so spit, where she spit, we'll put a statue. Originally, and I'll say this again when we get there, it'll be obvious, we'll talk about the erosion in mass detail, we'll talk about Robert Schoch's theories, but originally the plateau was this level, only what we think with the head. And it would have been, as I told Susan, in geology, what's called a yardang. It's just a limestone outcropping. That's all it originally was. Hakim said people would come there 56,000 years ago, thousands of years before she was a statue, just to come to the place, to energize themselves. Because they knew the energy, they could feel the energy, move with energy. This is the Cretians, of course. Then they said she spit and wanted to create a physical image for the first time. So the first thing created above ground, after all the tunnels, not pyramids, not temples, was Tefnut, the great mother.